You are now tuned into Minimal Podcast, Trading Materials for Peace of Mind, hosted by me, Joseph Cooper. This is episode number 3. I am calling this one the Ebb and Flow episode. So what that means is what goes in must come out. And of course, we're going to talk about striving for peace of mind. We're going to talk about minimalism, and we are definitely going to talk about less is more. Speaking of less is more, that new intro that you hear is produced by the one and only Dopeskin. Dopeskin has blessed me with a brand new intro for my podcast. So Dopeskin, thank you very much. If you want to listen to more Dopeskin, head on over to Apple Music and listen to his albums. He has Less is More sample and Less is More drum. Without further ado, let's get to the episode. So I want to basically start with a concept that I think a lot of people know about is when you go to like a Home Depot or a Lowe's and you buy a big appliance, such as a stove, a refrigerator, a washer and dryer. When you're purchasing one from one of these big stores, they ask you, do you want us to haul away the old refrigerator, the old stove, the old washer and dryer? And the concept is you're buying something new, getting rid of the old one or replacing the old one. So the concept, it's a great idea. It's not new. It's not something I'm inventing. It's been around for decades. So basically, what if we apply that concept of every time we make a purchase and we bring something into our home, what are we getting out? What's going out the door? What's going in the garbage can? What's being donated? What's being removed from the household? And so I want to apply that concept to any and everything that we do, because the goal is for things that are coming in, stuff has to go out the door. We can't have these graveyards, is what I call them. These are graveyards of things that are worn down, things that are broken, things that have already been replaced in your home. Why are we keeping the old versions? Why are we keeping the broken versions? So that is really what this concept is about, is that we need to get rid of our graveyards. We need to clean up these graveyards. We need to throw them away. And these graveyards could be different. For example, I just bought a lawnmower today because the lawnmower that I have is broken. So buying the lawnmower is only 50% of the job. The other 50% is getting rid of the old one, the old broken lawnmower. Because if I don't get rid of the old lawnmower, what happens is I now have a new lawnmower and I'm just adding it, putting it in addition to the broken lawnmower. So now I'm just creating more clutter. I'm taking up more space. I'm keeping something that has already been deemed as broken. It's waste, it's trash. So in some of our graveyards, it differs from person to person. Sometimes it is lawnmowers. I've known people, they have 3 or 4, 5 broken lawnmowers, and then they only have one that works. What's the point of keeping 4 or 5 broken lawnmowers? And sometimes if it's not a lawnmower, maybe it's something else. Maybe it's a smartphone graveyard. Maybe it's, if we have a bunch of old smartphones that are 5, 6, 7 years old that have no value, that have no purpose, but for some reason we just keep keeping them. For some, they just add more clutter, adds more space. So when we buy the brand new phone that comes out, what are we doing with the old one or the old ones? So we're just creating more clutter, more distraction in our home. So really, it's this concept of monitoring this. Like I said, it's just ebb and flow of making sure that every time we're buying something, what's going into the garbage can, what's going out the door. So you may think, well, that concept, yes, it makes sense for major appliances, but it doesn't make sense in my day-to-day life because I don't buy a washer and a dryer and a refrigerator every day. So how does this apply to my daily lifestyle? Well, that's where we have to change our way of thinking again, because we could apply it to all of our purchases. So if we go to the grocery store and we buy groceries, those groceries are now coming into the house. Well, what's going out? So, and sometimes it's looking in the refrigerator, it's looking in the pantry, it's cleaning out. I'm sure we have things that have expired in our refrigerator. We have things that have expired in the pantry. but we're not but for some reason, sometimes we get caught up in the new groceries that we just bought, is that we're not paying attention to the food that has already expired, that we already have. So that's just, and that's probably more of a relatable scenario, because we buy groceries probably on a weekly basis or maybe a bi-weekly basis. It's just really understand, okay, I'm buying these groceries, what's going out, what's going in the garbage can, because I can't donate expired food. So if it's expired food, it has to go in the garbage. So just, like I said, and that's just one example, but there's so many other examples. Shoes is another example. Sometimes when our shoes get worn out, and they're old and they're falling apart, we always think, okay, I need to go buy a new pair of shoes. And that's where the focus is. The focus is buying the brand new pair of shoes. It's rarely focusing on throwing away the old pair of shoes. Like, what is the replacement? So to replace something, that's when you buy something new and the thing that's being replaced is being thrown out or it's being donated. So, and that's something that we need to get into, this constant mindset of, okay, I'm buying something. Is it a purchase? Is it a brand new purchase where it's something I've never had before? Or am I purchasing something that's replacing something that I already have? Or because I'm replacing something, like I said, that's old, that's broken, that no longer works, it has no value, it has no purpose anymore. So, and if it falls into one of those things I just said, what are we doing with it? Are we keeping it? Because we know keeping it is not the answer. That's not the solution. Because if keeping something that doesn't serve a purpose anymore, now this is where clutter builds, and this is where we get overwhelmed, because we have so much waste, we have so much trash going on, like I said, in our living space, in our homes. So it's just really applying this concept to everything that we have. Anytime we buy anything, what's going out, and that's really gonna, like I said, make this habitual, make it a habit, make it to where every time we're gonna buy something, hey, something has to go out the door. And that's gonna help, and that's gonna make it easier. Let's just go back to groceries. Your refrigerator, it's going to look better, it's going to smell better, it's going to be easier for things to find, because your refrigerator has all food that's new, it's food that's not expired, and it's food that you can eat. And the same thing goes to your pantry. We're only putting in the stuff that is useful to us, the food that is still good, because food that is no good has no purpose. It's now has transitioned into trash. So it's really, like I said, purchasing something is only 50%. The other 50% is, what are we throwing away? What are we donating? It could be clothes, purchasing clothes. Maybe that's another example of where we're going to purchase some new shirts, maybe some new pants. Well, what are we replacing? What has to leave? What has to go out the door? Especially, and I see this a lot with people that have kids, such as myself. I have 3 kids, that the kids grow so fast. You can buy clothes one day, and within 2 months, they don't fit anymore. And as a parent, the focus is, I have to buy some new clothes for my children, because they don't fit them anymore, or they're too dirty, they have stains, they're worn out. And we just think, okay, that's where the mindset goes. I have to buy new clothes. I have to buy new clothes to replace the old ones. But sometimes we're not getting rid of the old ones. Especially when it comes to kid clothes. Sometimes kid clothes, they start to pile up. And then it's hard to distinguish, well, which ones are the ones that don't fit them anymore? Which ones are the ones that are no good? This is where, clothes, especially for kids clothes, you have to start thinking, okay, which clothes are still good and that can be donated? And which clothes are totally just stained and they serve no purpose. Let's try to get those out the door. Let's maybe put those in the trash can. So, like I said, it's all a mindset. It's this concept of just understanding if you have your door to your home, or maybe the door to your bedroom. We call that the threshold, and just be mindful of everything that goes through that threshold, every single thing that's coming in. And also we need to think, okay, what's going out? Like I said, it has to be an ebb and flow. Sometimes it could be 1 for 1. If you really want to, be on a little to make it a little bit quicker, maybe it's 2 to 1. For every new thing that you buy, what are 2 things that are coming out? What are 2 things that are, coming out the door? What's being thrown away? What's being donated? It's just like I said, it's this mindset, and you're probably thinking, well, if I was to, live my life that way, eventually I'm not going to have anything. Well, that's not entirely true, because the thing about it, when you start looking around, we have so many things, and it's like so many things that we have. A lot of these things have become useless to us. A lot of these things have become trash. It's just that sometimes we don't like to focus on the trash. We like to focus on the brand new and shiny, and we don't focus on the old and broken. And that's typical. That's expected to some degree. Like I said, but we got to change that mindset. Get rid of the graveyards. Get rid of those smartphone graveyards, those computer graveyards where you just, you buy a new computer because the new one, it's a 2021 model. It's faster, has a better processor, has a bigger hard drive. But what happens to the old computer? Do we just, stuff it somewhere in a garage, in a closet? Well, how often are we going to keep doing that? That's the thing. We're just going to build up more clutter and more clutter. And, these things become trash over time. They especially electronics. Electronics, they lose value so quickly because technology grows at such a fast rate that the iPhone that you buy today is not going to be worth nearly as much 6 months from now, 12 months from now, 2 years from now, 3 years from now. You'll be lucky if it holds any value at all. So we just need to make sure that we're like I said, we're getting rid of the trash, and like I said, what's coming in the door, what's going out. Apply it to every basis of your life. The big purchases, your major appliances, a car. It's very easy for us to grasp the concept. I'm going to buy a brand new car. I'm going to trade in my current car. Everyone can grasp that concept, but let's bring it down to every single level. It doesn't have to be the big purchases. It could be your daily purchases. It could be just going to the grocery store and you're bringing in 10 bags of groceries. It could be buying like I said, your new smartphone, whatever it is. Just be mindful, and let's get rid of that trash. Let's put this concept on every aspect of our purchases, of our life, because that's how that minimalism is really going to be achieved. So if you know all the stuff in your home that works, and like I said in the last video, if you know where everything is at, that anxiety, that stress, it's going to decrease. It's going to come down. The more stuff that you bring into your home without getting rid of the old stuff, now that anxiety level, that stress is going to increase. So it's really, we want to keep that stress and anxiety to a bare minimum. We want to control the things that we control, because there's so many things that we can, but there's also so many things that we can't. But instead of focusing on the things that we can't control, we turn around and put our energy on the things that we can control. So we're going to control the things that come into our home. We're going to control the things that go out of our home. So like I said, it's putting this concept to every aspect of our lives, making a grocery list, writing down what I need for groceries, because if I don't do that, then there's another issue that could happen where I might be doubling up and tripling up on something because I don't know what I have. I'm not aware of the inventory that I have in my refrigerator, in my pantry, or whatever it may be, my school supplies, whatever the item is. If I'm unaware of what I already own, I could be going to the store and purchasing something I already have. So when that happens, now we have 2-3 items of the same exact thing. It turns into duplicates. And so, like I said, now space, not necessarily clutter or garbage, but now we have to find space for these things. And sometimes it's things that we already have. So, I'm going to end the video, but just be mindful of this concept of, what goes in must come out. Just always keep it, keep that mindset, apply that concept to every aspect of all of our purchases that we do. And even if it's not a direct replacement of, purchasing to replace something, maybe it's, like, hey, I just bought something. Hey, I need to throw something out. And that also gets us into the habit of consistently cleaning. That gets us into the habit of being consistently organized. And like I said, organization, cleanliness, that is where we're trying to reach that, because we're ultimately trying to achieve that peace of mind that I'm going to keep talking about in every video. So I'm going to end it there. God bless. Good night. And I'll see you on the next episode. Thank you for lending your ears. If you enjoy what you're hearing, please subscribe and tell your friends about this podcast. You can also show your support by purchasing a hoodie at minimalbranded.com. That is my clothing website, so please feel free to make a purchase. Remember, new episodes will be uploaded weekly. Thank you again.